Hello students, welcome to the third session for 9th standard science. Well, up till now we have discussed very well about the cell, discovery of the cell, and based on the cell, the variations, that is the unicellular and the multicellular. We went on to the discovery by numerous scientists. Then we went on into the regions of a cell, mainly consisting of the three major regions: the plasma membrane, nucleus, and the cytoplasm. We went on to the plasma membrane, discussed it, that how it is a selectively permeable membrane. Then we went on to the nucleus, the structure of a typical nucleus and its numerous functions. We went on into the nucleus and dealt with the DNA and how it is responsible for the transformation of the characteristics from one generation to the next. Later on, we went on into the cytoplasm, its fluid and the organelles that are present inside it. And we have done very well about the endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi body, and the lysosomes. Now today our main focus of attention is on the three major organelles. They are mitochondria, the chloroplast, and the vacuoles. Moving on to the first one, the mitochondria. Now this mitochondria is known as the powerhouse of the cell. Now, why it is said to be a powerhouse? Now, whenever we hear the word powerhouse, one major thing that comes into our mind is the energy. So here, exactly in a similar way, the mitochondria generates energy in the form of ATP. And that ATP is nothing but the adenosine triphosphate. So this ATP is the energy currency of the cell. Just as rupees is the currency for Indian notes, exactly in a similar way, this ATP is the energy currency of the cell. So mitochondria basically generates this energy in the form of ATP by various enzymes that are present inside its structure. So let us see the structure of a typical mitochondria. Now here we can see very well the structure of a typical mitochondria. It mainly consists of two major membranes. The outer membrane is a continuous one, while the inner membrane is not continuous. It is having some sort of infoldings, and these infoldings are known as the mitochondrial cristae. And on the surface of these mitochondrial cristae, there are numerous small minute particles which are basically responsible for the generation of energy. The fluid of the mitochondria is known as mitochondrial matrix, or simply as the matrix. And this matrix has numerous enzymes which are responsible for various metabolic and biochemical activities which are performed by a typical cell. Now these mitochondria are known as strange organelles. Now why they are said to be a strange organelle? Because they have their own DNA and ribosomes. Now moving on to the next organelle, that is the plastids. Now these plastids are ultimately responsible for giving various sorts of colors to the flowers, fruits, and to the leaves also. How do they do so? So there are three major types of the plastids: the chloroplast, the chromoplast, and the leucoplast. So talking about the first one, that is the chloroplast. Now these chloroplasts are having some sort of pigment, and that pigment is said to be the chlorophyll. So this chlorophyll is responsible for giving the green color to the leaves. Now, where this chlorophyll is mainly present? This chlorophyll is mainly present inside a typical structure of the chloroplast. So let us see the structure of a typical chloroplast. Now basically it mainly contains the two membranes, and both the membranes are continuous in nature. The inner space of this chloroplast is said to be the stroma, and there are some sort of coin-like structures which are piled up together, out of which a single coin is said to be a thylakoid, and the group of such coins is known as the grana or the granum. So inside these grana or the granum and a single thylakoid, the chlorophyll content is mainly present, and that is responsible for the production of the food and in giving specific green color to the leaves. Furthermore, this chlorophyll is also responsible for various biochemical processes in case of the plants, and one of the major process it helps in is the photosynthesis. If we divide the word photosynthesis, photo means light and synthesis means to generate. So your food is prepared with the help of light, so it is known as photosynthesis. So a major food is prepared by the plants using chlorophyll with the help of this photosynthesis, and that food is known as the carbohydrates. Furthermore, the grana are interconnected with each other by means of some sort of tube-like structures which are known as the lamellae. Furthermore, the space, that is the stroma, it also has a lot of enzymes which are responsible for the reactions in case of plants during the night time. So the thylakoid responsible for photosynthesis during the daytime, and the stroma responsible for respiration during the night time. Furthermore, these chloroplasts are also said to be the strange organelles. Like the mitochondria, they have their own DNA and the ribosomes. Moving on to the other cell organelles, that is, like the chloroplast, the other plastids are there, known as the chromoplast and the leucoplast. Now talking about the chromoplast. These chromoplasts, they are non-green pigments. So apart from the green color, the rest of the colors, not all but up to a certain extent, some red, green and various other colors also are there. Green in a mixed manner is given by this chromoplast. So the colors in relation to various flowers and the fruits is mainly done by the chromoplast. And the third one, that is the leucoplast, they are mainly responsible for the process, or I should say for the purpose of the storage of various fats and biochemical fluids. Now the next organelle that we shall focus on is the vacuoles. Now these vacuoles, they are large in size exclusively in case of the plants, and they are small in size in relation to the animals. Now let us see the structure of a typical vacuole. Now the outer membrane is said to be the tonoplast, and the fluid of the vacuole is said to be the tonoplasm. Now this entire vacuole has a lot of enzymes responsible for numerous biochemical and the metabolic processes. Furthermore, it gives a proper shape and texture to the entire plant cell. While in case of the animals, it does not have or it does not play any major role. But there are certain animals where it plays a huge role. Just as in case of the amoeba. Now amoeba obtains its food by means of some sort of finger-like structures. And those finger-like structures are known as pseudopodia. They are known as false feet, by which it grabs the food and forms a round structure known as a food vacuole. So a vacuole having the food is known as a food vacuole. Exactly in a similar way, it also produces an excretory vacuole, by means the waste materials are released outside the body. So that's all about the various organelles of the typical cell. Now let us see the differences between a plant cell and an animal cell. So here there is an entire tabulation about the plant cell and the animal cell. Numerous differences are there in relation to the cell wall, the ribosomes, and various other factors are there. Well, here are the few worksheets for the 9th standard, and especially from this chapter's point of view, which might be useful for the standard of 9th standard and specifically for this chapter. Now let us revise this entire chapter. Well, in the starting we dealt with a typical cell, discovery by Robert Hooke, how he used the cork cells and observed under the microscope. Discovery by various scientists, Leeuwenhoek, Robert Brown, then Perkin-J, and various other scientists. We went on to the unicellular and the multicellular organisms. Then we went on to the three major regions of a typical cell, that is the plasma membrane, the cytoplasm, and a typical nucleus. The plasma membrane, how it is known as a selectively permeable membrane, and how only useful substances will be entering the cell. Furthermore, we went on to the nucleus, how the DNA is responsible for the transformation of the characteristics from one generation to the next. We went on into the cytoplasm, dealt with a lot of organelles like the endoplasmic reticulum, how it has been categorized into the rough and the smooth based on the presence or the absence of the ribosomes. We went on to the Golgi body, discovered by the Camillo Golgi, and how it is mainly responsible for the packaging of various substances. We went on to the lysosomes and how it is known as the suicidal bag of the cell. Then we dealt with the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. Later on we went on into the chloroplast, which is said to be the kitchen of the cell, as it mainly produces food by the process of photosynthesis. And last but not the least, we went on into the vacuoles, that how it gives a proper shape and texture to a typical plant cell. Thank you very much.